can't even stop laughing. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Renatus J.A.M. My name is Jay Stark, and joining me, as always, is my fearless co-host,
Mr. Matt Snyder.
Mr. Matt Snyder. Sorry, we got a brand new introduction to the J.A.M. today.
Yeah, new even over the last time. So
Yes.
I was freaking out last time, and now this one's even newer and cooler.
Even
and I'm
newer.
Stoked. That was really cool.
Yeah, that was legit.
The reason I'm pointing, I realized, because I looked at the video right as I was doing it, but the reason I'm pointing off camera is because there's a screen down there that we saw. So
Right.
yeah, it probably looks weird because I'm pointing into the middle of nowhere. That was cool.
Woo!
Yeah.
Way to make movie making magic look less magical.
Oh, I think it's cool. I think it's cool regardless, right?
Well, I do too.
All these screens. This is cool.
This is cool. This is way cool. I mean, we even got this really nice backdrop going
That's
on right here.
We got some cool stuff.
Did you know your name
excited.
is spelled wrong?
What?
Nothing.
It's not.
I know. I just wanted to
Oh.
give Andrew a heart attack.
Oh, I was like, what? I've been spelling it
man.
that way my whole life. I guess I'll just keep
Right.
going.
It's been wrong your whole life. What can I say?
It's worked till now.
Well, you know what? For everybody who's on the line with us, I hope that you all had a very happy and celebration-filled Independence Day. I know that I had opportunity to attend a parade. I had opportunity to go to fireworks. We actually went to a cookout. We spent time on a slip and slide. We had fun with family, friends, and a whole bunch of people that have yet to be friends. But I tell you what, it was an awesome day, and it was an awesome opportunity to celebrate the many freedoms that so many have fought and died for. So I hope that you guys had a great Independence Day celebration as well. But for me and my family, it was truly awesome.
Me too, Jay. It was, you were a large part of that, but it was really fun.
That slip and slide was epic.
Yeah. Yeah.
That thing was, maybe one day we'll have to share photos of that. I don't know. But that thing was epic.
The kids played on it for
hours.
Literally 4 hours, maybe even a little
This
longer.
was I don't know, probably 40, 50, 60, probably 50 feet long.
Probably 50.
And it had a platform in the middle of it, so you kind of
you'd kind of catch air if you got going fast enough, and then in the bottom
cool.
kind of banked you, and
Yeah.
it was really cool. It was super fun. The kids had a great time. It was a good 4th of July. It was probably one of my favorite, I think, all-time 4th of Julys.
Yeah, it was definitely a good time. It was a little bit hard. It was a little bittersweet because we got notified early in the morning that there's a forest fire going on right now in Centerville, Utah, on the mountain.
Yep.
In one of the canyons. And so we got notified early Monday morning that the parade that we had entered to be in was actually canceled that day.
Yep. Total bummer.
That was hard.
The mountain was on fire, so some yahoo celebrating his independence lit the mountain on fire, and
now the authorities are looking to cancel.
Yeah, did they catch this guy? Because he would have wherever it would have been illegal because you can't.
Yeah, you can't set him off in certain areas.
Yeah, that was a restricted area,
and anybody who sets a fire and then doesn't report it but just walks away.
Ooh.
That's bad.
Yeah,
bad.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I mean, because there were 85 homes that had to be evacuated.
Oh yeah, crazy.
Yeah, I would. Anyways,
but I hope that everybody on the line. I hope you guys all had a great Independence Day celebration as well. I do have to say that I truly love our country. And I love the many people that are in it. In fact, it's the diversity in our country that I celebrate. That absolutely adds the flavor to our melting pot. So,
yep.
I love America. Anyway, let's move on. Mr. Snyder, what's new and exciting?
Well, man, we've got quite a bit actually, right?
Yeah.
So there was an order to this. I'm thinking 5-star.
Dude, don't even worry about the order.
We talked about the 4th of July. We've got
We
we've got the 5-star winner circle coming up this fall.
We do have the 5-star winner circle coming up.
Yeah.
So the 5-star winner circle is going to be an opportunity for all marketers to compete, right? It's not it's a competition. It really is.
Yeah.
And it starts on September 1st and runs through November 30th. Now, we've created an equal or a level playing field is what I should call it.
Yeah.
Not equal necessarily, but level. So everybody starts at 0, and then everybody does personal sales only, and we basically take the top 5 and celebrate them as the winners of the 5-star winner's circle.
Yeah.
And are the payoff, the benefit of being a 5-star winner circle beyond just bragging rights and beyond telling everybody, all your friends, and getting special recognition at the national conference, is that you get to hang out for 4 days, I think, with Bob Snyder and a select other grouping of leaders at his personal residence in Bear Lake.
Well, and it's going to be cool. There's instructors that they're going to have come do, if it's in the winter, snowmobiling stuff, or somebody teach you how to ride snowmobiles.
Wait.
There's going to be really unique experiences, I think, that all around.
We've got a couple of professionals that are coming to teach specifically how to ride in the backcountry.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And then what to do if you get stuck, all of that fun stuff.
Yeah.
But then we're going to actually spend a day going backcountry.
Yeah.
It's going to be so much fun.
That is some fun backcountry back there.
Yeah.
I've been there. It's just some of my favorite place to be. I love it back there. It's wonderful. So that'll be really cool.
Yeah, it's going to be a really good time. So that's the 5-star winner circle that's coming up, and then there's another 5-star winner circle that starts shortly after the national. I want to say that it's in.
I don't remember the dates.
Does it start March? Does it start in March and run through June?
We did,
or run through
September 1st to November 30th, and then, I want to say it was March 1st.
March 1st through the end of May.
I think so.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So
we'll get you dates obviously as it gets closer.
As we get closer, we'll get
solid dates.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that'll be really neat because that place is a whole different place in the summertime versus wintertime.
Oh yeah.
And I just when you go on these trips and you get together and stuff, it's just there's lots of fun things to do, but it's also, the people that you are staying with, right? The people that you are connecting with and creating relationships with and getting to know better, and the professionals that you get to pick their brains and that sort of thing. And are they staying in actually at Bear Lake? So this would be the first time that ICMs it's ever been opened up at all to any ICMs to stay, not to be at an event there because Everest and stuff, but you have to get housing somewhere else. This, you're actually sleeping there, so that's really cool because
it's gonna be an all inclusive. I don't want to say all inclusive, but all expenses covered.
Meals will be catered and all that stuff, right? So yeah, it'll be pretty epic. Yeah,
I like it. So then we've also got the Leaders Retreat that is coming up shortly.
Yeah.
So that's going to be in Costa Rica, and we told everybody this the last couple of weeks. We ran out of rooms. We have sold out. And if anybody does cancel, then a room would become available through our link. So if you're looking to attend the Leaders Retreat, keep trying.
Yeah, keep hitting that link. See if you can get in.
Yeah, and you can always reach out to Carol Allegre. Now, I don't have her contact information on hand with me. Matt, are you pulling it up real quick?
No, I was trying to get the YouTube to pull up here. I'm not seeing
YouTube?
The YouTube machine. So
good one.
Yeah,
I got the Facebooks up here, but it's really, really choppy.
I keep refreshing because I'm trying to see if it's streaming or what. So
gotcha. Anyway, the Leaders Retreat, just keep trying. Contact Carol Allegre. If you do not have her contact information, call the home team, 801-701-7337, or hit us up through the chat feature of the website. I can do words.
You can do words.
I can do words. And yeah, we'll pass her contact information along so that if one becomes available,
dig it up here.
I'm not sure that that's the right email. That might be the email she uses to log in, not necessarily the email that she wants to have
to
people
give
contacted.
out to everybody. Okay, all right.
So yeah, just contact us. We've got the email available, and we'll make sure that we get you taken care of if we can. All right, let's see here. Oh, we got 2 more things to talk about real quick before we bring out our featured guest for the podcast. 2 more things. The next thing that I want to talk about, regionals, baby.
Yes.
Now check this out. We have this cool graphic right here.
Yep.
There it is.
Yep.
Cool
there
graphic.
Yep.
Cool graphic is now loaded. This will give you a rundown of the dates and locations of our regional schedule. So this is going to be starting September 23rd and 24th. We're going to go into Denver. And then October 14th, 15th, we're going to be in Washington, D.C. October 21st and 22nd. So then the next weekend, we're going to be in Chicago. November 4th and 5th, Florida. I mean, Southern Florida, right? I don't know exactly where that one's going to be hosted, but it's going to be in Southern Florida.
I haven't been told where it's. Yeah, I haven't been told where in
I'm going to
Florida.
see if we can get an actual city name for that.
Yep.
SoFlo. November 11th and 12th is going to be Salt Lake City. Then November 18th and 19th is going to be in Phoenix, Scottsdale area.
Sweet.
So look forward to that. Make plans now. Make travel arrangements. Get your accommodations taken care of for whichever regional that you can attend. Or if you can attend multiples, all of them, do it. It's going to be awesome.
It sure will, and it'll be the first time we've done regionals in a couple of years.
Yeah, actually, because we had
3.
the Mega Reunion Tour.
Yeah.
Where we were trying to get people.
But this for a bona fide regional conference.
Yeah.
I mean, these things are huge, and yeah, it'll be the first time we've done them since COVID, right?
Yeah. So
years.
It's
been
years.
This is cool. I know.
So I'm pretty excited. I know it's kind of an abbreviated schedule considering what we were doing a couple of years ago.
Well, sure.
But we're just getting back into the swing of things. So look out for the regionals and attend whatever regionals you can. I promise you will not regret it.
They are game changing.
They are.
As many have, gone on and done testimonials to say so, right? But like I've talked to, I don't know, a dozen or so people personally about their experience with regionals and what happened to transform their business after the fact.
Yep.
It's kind of it's really kind of a localized national. That's really the way I think of them.
That's really what it is.
So, yeah.
Because you get these national level trainers. Bob and Scott are usually going to the different markets. And then you're going to get the local leaders as well that are stepping up training. But then you get the local recognition.
Yes.
You get to see people that are in your immediate vicinity that are doing either what you're doing or are trying to do what you're doing or are doing what you want to be doing.
Yeah, and those are the people I want to be talking to.
Yep, exactly.
Those are the people. Again, I want to be rubbing shoulders with those people that are where I want to be.
Yep.
And I can pick their brain and figure out what they're doing. So, anyways, yeah.
So here's the deal. We did have Alvin Lamb ask a question here. He said, "What is the record of orders entered on one day?" Now, buckle up. I can tell you that in the last 2 months, I think the record has been 13 Epics combos on one day by one ICM.
Oh, if we're talking one ICM or are we talking company wide?
Oh, that was just one ICM. I couldn't tell you company wide.
I couldn't tell you company wide either. But yeah, I know that 13 is the number I'm aware of by one ICM.
One ICM in one day, 13
combos.
Epics combos. Which means that Epics is obviously the 3 different educational packages. So if you want to take a look at the count, 3 times 13 is 39. So you actually entered 39 orders in one day.
Yep.
And
but the dollar amount's what I would be looking at, right?
Well, so, there's money there.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Mr. Lamb, just to answer your question, to my favorite maniac, 13 Epics combos in one day.
Yep.
All right. So sorry, that got me off hard. The other thing that I wanted to bring up is the this coming Monday on the Founders Live. We have had some incredible trainings over the last several weeks on the Founders Lives. Not that I want to say that any Founders Lives are better than others.
Sure.
But, some are just better than others.
Hey, well, that's going to happen. That's going to happen when I think when you put on anything, right? Some are just going to be a little bit better than others. And let alone like the times when you have, I don't know, me on, then those are the best.
Dude, you're fantastic.
I know.
You're fantastic.
Thank you.
So, anyway, this coming Founders Live this Monday, the 11th at 4 p.m. Mountain Time, we have Mr. Bob Tierney coming out on the call, and he's going to be sharing team building, how, where, when, all of that.
Okay.
Because I want you to think about this. If I said this story, if I said we had an ICM that took an Uber from the airport to his hotel and ended up getting the Uber driver to attend the event, who am I talking about?
Bob Tierney.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This guy, he team builds. He can sell his way out of a paper bag.
He can.
That sounds wrong, because usually you say you can't sell your way out of a paper bag.
But he can.
He can.
Which maybe that's a hard thing. Maybe that's an easy low bar. I don't know. But this guy can sell. That's all I know.
It must be a low bar.
Yeah, why, right? Like, because if he can't do it, and they're talking, maybe it is a low bar.
Man.
But
here's the deal,
Bob.
This guy,
Bob could sell a ketchup popsicle to a woman in a white dress. Or what do they say? Ice to Eskimos.
Ice to Eskimos.
Yeah. I love those sayings.
Yeah. That the fact of the matter is, Mr. Tierney shares his story with such authenticity and such conviction and such power that we're inviting him out on the Founders Live to share how he does that.
That's the exact word that I would use to describe him, is authentic. Because that's what it is. His story is amazing.
It is.
And he tells it and communicates it in a way that
it sucks you right in, and you go along the ride with him.
You totally go with him, like you're there, and then you feel those emotions, and you understand what Renatus has been in his life, and what what it's done for him to be really free to do the things that he does. And so it's really something to listen to him.
It really is.
So he's going to teach us how to do it.
He is. He's going to go over 3-foot contacting. He's also going to go over the I'm trying to think. The way that it's said a lot around the community is you dance with the girl that brung you. But ultimately, he's going to talk about growing where you're planted rather than always thinking the grass is greener somewhere else.
Yeah, I think it's it's kind of normal for people to think, well, if this, then I could.
Right.
And
if only
the funny
this would
thing
happen,
is,
then I could.
I think it's totally normal human nature that we all do it in some aspect in our lives, but I think it's important to look at it and especially the people who are top performers. I can think of a bunch of top performers that came in under people that are not by any stretch of the imagination.
Right.
And so, they came in and their upline isn't even there. Maybe even, they kind of, whatever happened, who knows? I don't know. But they have risen to the top regardless of their upline. And so, they didn't make any excuses and they just got to work.
Sometimes in spite of their upline.
Yeah. So, obviously when you get thousands of people together, some people aren't going to mesh,
right?
That's just kind of how it works. And
that's one thing that Bob Snyder talks about quite a bit. He says, the very best thing that my enroller did for me was get out of my way.
Yeah.
He left me to my own devices. I figured it out. And because I figured it out, I was able to internalize what I learned very, very quickly, as opposed to having somebody else hand it to me.
Yeah, and because he's figured it out and internalized it the way he did, he can teach it, and he knows it. He knows it, backwards and forwards.
Exactly.
And so, it's been a huge blessing, if you will.
Yeah.
Actually, in his case,
the obstacle is the way, right? There's so many times when we look at an obstacle and we go, oh, this is insurmountable, or this is too much.
Yep.
Or we think, oh, well, if we just had this one little element, this tool, this whatever, then I'd be able to get over this a lot quicker. And a lot of times we find that our path to greatest success and learning is actually in overcoming the obstacle.
It is.
Not just trying to work around it.
It sure is. I know that there have been times where I've wished for stuff inside of, back then, the business center. This was when I was primarily marketing like full time. I was spending all my time doing it.
Yep.
And I'm, literally hand typing leads into an Excel spreadsheet, and I've, hundreds, right? Like, it's time consuming and mind numbing and then calling all of those people one by one using a cell phone dialing. And so, and so it's easy to go, man, I wish, because, I've been in other situations like for call centers where it's just an auto dialer, it's dump it in and go or whatever. It's so much easier. You call 300 people in a day that way.
Right.
Right. And so, I wished for a lot of things, but I wasn't going to get them. And I didn't focus on that. I just went for it. And, look what happened. Anyways, not going to talk numbers or whatever, but I did great. Right. So, find those leads and call them. I mean, it is pretty basic, right?
It's
see the people, tell the story, build for events, follow up.
My favorite quote from Bruce Lee: "I would rather fight the man who's practiced 10,000 different kicks than fight the man who's practiced one kick 10,000 times."
That's true.
We got to get good at the basics, at seeing the people, telling the story, building for events, following up, and doing it again.
Yep.
And that's what Mr. Tierney is so good at. Yeah. And so he's going to share about how to master those basics when it comes to contacting and it comes to team building.
Yeah, that's great, because it's so easy to get kind of lost in the weeds with something else.
Oh yeah,
I've done it. Wishing, hoping, thinking maybe this will help. Maybe it'll be easier if, right? And, the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. I know I kind of refer to that but the principle applies so beautifully. And there's the 12 steps, right, that it lists out, and then it says, at some of these we balked. We thought there was an easier, softer way, but what it's saying is there isn't.
Right.
And you've got to do that, and you'll be rewarded for it, and it's totally worth it. But it doesn't mean that it's going to be the click of a button there. It's easy.
Right.
So,
right. There's still work that has to be done.
There's work there. You got to do the work.
And it can be a simple thing and still take work. So as we introduce our featured trainer, featured guest on the podcast, I wanted to tell a little story, and I told this story at lunch today, so you've already heard it.
Yeah, yep.
This is regarding Charles Plumb, Plumb. Charles Plumb was a naval aviator who joined the Navy in 1960. Let's see, was accepted into the Naval Academy in 1960 and started his career as a Navy fighter pilot.
Okay.
He flew 74 successful missions off of the U.S. aircraft carrier Kitty Hawk, the USS Kitty Hawk. And I wanted to tell a little bit about flight number 75. So he flew in an F-4 Phantom, 5 days before his scheduled return to the United States. So he's done with this tour.
He's at the end.
The very end.
Yep.
Plumb undertook his 75th and last mission over Hanoi. While traveling at a high speed and positioned low to the ground, his plane was struck by an enemy surface-to-air missile. Because of the awkward position of his plane, his survival depended upon a successful ejection and especially sturdy parachute. While landing safely to the ground, and actually it talks a little bit about this later, he ejected going faster than the parameters that the parachute was designed to withstand. Ooh. So anyway, just keep that in mind. He was cooking. While landing safely on the ground, he was immediately captured by North Vietnamese villagers and taken as a prisoner of war for the next 2,103 days, almost 6 years. He lived in an 8x8 prison cell.
Oh my gosh.
So 6 years later, he's finally released as the Vietnam War came to an end.
Right.
In 1991, he retired as a fighter pilot.
Yeah.
After 31 years of service. Well after his return to the United States, Plum had a chance encounter with a former naval petty officer, the lowest of all ranks, which changed the direction of his life. While Plum sat with his wife at a restaurant, he noticed a man about his own age staring at him from across the dining room. Eventually, the man approached Plum's table, stuck out his hand, and said, "You're Plum. You flew fighter jets in Vietnam from the Kitty Hawk, and you were shot down." Startled, Plum asked, "How in the world did you know that?" After a pause, the man answered, "Well, I packed your parachute." Plum grasped the man's hand with gratitude while smiling broadly and vigorously shaking Plum's hand. The man proudly declared, "I guess it worked."
Yeah.
And the reason why I bring this up is there are many times in our lives when we are affected by people that we may not even realize how they're affecting us.
Yep.
Plum, for example, was a fighter pilot whose very existence depended on the efforts of somebody whom he didn't even know very well, didn't interact with very much, may have even considered beneath him. But this man packed his parachute, and at the critical moment when he needed it most, that parachute performed admirably and saved his life.
Yeah.
So the question that I have for everybody who's with us, the question that I just love to pose in light of this story is, who's packed your parachute? And whose parachute are you packing? The reason why I felt like this was an appropriate introduction for our guest today is because he's not only one who understands and recognizes those people that have helped him along the way, he is one who has personally affected me and helped to pack my parachute and prepare me for the times when I need it most. He has enabled me with tools, thoughts, ideas. He's constantly challenging me he challenges me to be better, do more, to constantly increase and grow. And I truly love and respect him. He has been an honored PAC member, and before that, a FAB member since the very beginning, the very inception of Renatus. He's a man who's been to the bottom and is now enjoying the fruits of his labors, being at the top. We are joined by none other than Mr. Richard Stock. Mr. Stock, thank you for joining us today, my friend.
Absolutely.
Dude, I love it. I'm sitting here talking about Navy fighter pilots.
That's what I was just thinking.
And you are wearing your Top Dad shirt.
I love it.
Boom, baby.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. It's like, that's an awesome
Hey,
shirt.
we go watch Top Gun tomorrow night as an office again, so it'll be good.
Yeah.
That movie is incredible.
That was a good movie.
I enjoyed
it was a good movie. So, Mr. Stock, you have been on the highest leadership councils in Renatus since the very beginning. You've seen leaders come and go. You've seen people rise and fall. What underlying principles have you kept or held on to throughout your tenure as a leader inside of Renatus that have sustained you? What do you really hold on to? What do you grasp at? What do you credit your success to?
Okay, so when I think about that, there's really kind of three things that I look at. Number one is it is absolutely an unwavering belief inside Renatus. And this is going to go back to the four core beliefs, right? That Renatus is the best real estate investment education company in the entire country. Nobody comes close to what we do, how we do it, how we create the success that we have. Number two, that Renatus is the best income opportunity in the entire country. That everybody needs what we have, and it's also their loss if they say no. And for those that have been to some of the trainings and stuff that I do, guys, this belief has to be so strong inside that what ends up happening when those four core beliefs come out, people just approach you. There's a lady I met 2.5 years ago. She literally makes about $2.5 million a year. And her husband's like, man, I got to know what the heck you're doing, right? I have a conference call with her and her husband tomorrow, right? To be able to get her husband started with what we do. Because those four core beliefs, guys, it's one thing just to know them, but it's another thing to absolutely believe them. One of the things I teach my team is this, that when people come to events, you just don't come to an event to come to an event. When you go to an event, the event has to go through you. Because if it goes through you with these 4 core beliefs, we're going to be recommitted every single week to building the business. Number 2, it is the CARS principle, that if we go out, confidence creates activity, activity creates results, results create success, and success creates more confidence. That we get to choose at every single day whether we are going to put ourselves on the success cycle, whether we're going to do the things daily to have confidence, to be able to create more activity, to be able to give us the results that we want, to be able to have the success that we want. And then number 3, it literally has to come back to our character. One of the things I've taught since for the last 10 years inside the office, there has to be integrity. There has to be consideration for other people and what they're going through. There has to be unconditional love, and there has to be the ability to give and serve and help other people, because we need those principles in our office, because we don't know who's coming through that door. We don't know what they've been through, if they just signed divorce papers, if they just got laid off. Like, we don't know what it is. But when we have that unwavering belief, we have the CARS principle daily, and we have the right character, we are going to attract the right people. And so when we attract the right people, it helps us go out and build a business faster. It allows us to be able to go out and have the success, because we aren't having to teach things when people have integrity, when people have morals, when they are considerate of other people. So I'd say those are kind of the 3 guiding principles that we've used for the last 10 and a half years to be able to build what we've been able to go out and create.
Give me the CARS principle again.
So confidence creates activity. Activity creates results. Results creates success. And success creates more confidence. So when you spell it out, confidence, activity, results, success, that's where we get like the CARS principle. But here's the other thing with that, Jay. No confidence creates no activity, which creates what?
No results.
No results, which creates no success.
Yep.
So every single day we get to choose, are we going to be on the success cycle, or are we going to be on the non-success cycle? So those are the 3 things with unwavering belief, with the CARS principle, and having the character that we need. Those have been the guiding principles for the last 10 and a half years or so, 11 years inside the company.
I love that. Sorry, I'm just taking notes here. I love this. Unwavering belief, the CARS principle, and integrity are the core values that you've seen that have created more success through the daily application of those principles. That's awesome. Absolutely. That's awesome. So, all right. You talked about a little bit about the 4 core beliefs, right? What are the 4 core beliefs again?
Renatus is the best real estate investment education company in the country. That Renatus has the best income opportunity in the country. Everyone needs our products, and it's their loss if they say no.
Yep.
Their loss if they say no. So how hard are those 4 core beliefs to implement? Especially it's their loss if they say no.
So here's one thing I go back to, and this is like old day Chris Albin,
okay,
where Chris Albin used to have a phrase that says, "It sucks to be you," right? And that if people didn't do stuff, it'd be like, "Well, it sucks to be you." And honestly, here's the thing: when we go with the belief, when we go with the CARS principle, when we have the right character, is this. Of course, guys, I never tell somebody when they walk out of my office and they don't do it, it sucks to be you. Like, I never verbalize that, right? But in my mind, this is what goes through. they just haven't caught the vision.
Yeah.
Like, I feel bad for you that you didn't catch the vision. I mean, Matt, I don't know if you remember this or not, but about a year ago, you sent me a message saying, hey, this guy called into corporate and he wants somebody to talk to here in Utah. I don't know if you remember, call me on that over a year ago. The dude called me back this last week.
Oh, wow.
And said, hey, remember when we talked? I'm like, dude, I have no clue who you are. He's like, you just made me feel welcome.
Wow.
Now he wants to come back to an event. This is where, when we look at the character, when we look at the integrity that we have, when it goes to the 4 core beliefs, is sometimes it's the right opportunity for everybody. It's just not the right time. So when we treat people with respect, when we appreciate who they are, those 4 core beliefs are so much easier. That I know it's the best income opportunity for you. I know you need what we have. And that is so fun being around people, because when that comes out and we know it is, and it comes through in the way which we speak, the way which we talk, the belief that comes out when we share it, it's really easy. If it's okay, can I share an example of the mastermind I was at a week and a half ago?
Of course.
Yeah, you bet.
Okay. So here we are, we're sitting at dinner, right? And I'm sitting next to this lady who, her and her husband, I met her about 15 months earlier. And she's like, tell me what you do again. And so I just started sharing. She literally looks at her husband and says, you know what I do, but you're going to start doing what this guy does. Right? Because of the excitement that came out. And guys, here's the thing. This lady, she's making $350,000 a year. Okay? Most ICMs are going to be like, they don't need what we have. Guys, their home's paid for free and clear. They have one rental property paid for free and clear. They have an Airbnb that's already up and running. Most people will be like, oh, they're good. And I just said, hey, I know it's not any of my business, but I'm curious. Do you ever feel like you pay too much in taxes? She's like, I get killed in taxes.
Yeah. Yep.
Bingo. Draw out on the napkin. We're literally there. 5-star, private island, 7.5 acres. Here I am drawing out on a napkin how to save money in taxes. And she's like, yeah, Aaron, you're going to be doing this with this guy. Because I never judge anybody, because here's the thing. When we look at the avatar on the person we want to attract, guys, I want to attract people that make money. Because, guys, here's the difference between making $50,000 a year, or $30,000 a year, and $300,000 a year. Attract people who have money. Don't put in-house billing or in-house billing. Guys, go find people who can stroke a $23,000 check and then not make a difference if that money's gone or not. Because I'll put in less orders that make more money because every one of my orders is cash. And so when it comes to the 4 core beliefs, it's like, man, if now's not the right time, it's okay. I'm still going to treat you with respect. So when I see you from now, I see you a year from now, you want to get started with what we do. And so it comes out not only in action, words, deed, excitement. We could do a whole training on body language and how body language works. And only 9% of the word, or 9% or 7% is the word you say. Guys, 93% is how you make them feel. 93% is nonverbal. So that's how that unwavering belief comes out, is you just make people make them feel like, man, this guy, this girl has something I want. And then you have character and you treat people with respect and you give back and you're able to do some things. The 4 core beliefs come out a lot easier. Now, what happens if those 4 core beliefs don't come out? You need to call your upline. You need to call your enroller. You need to call their person. We need to sit down and say, if we're struggling, that Renatus is the best real estate investment education company in the country, and we're struggling with that, then we got to come up with 4 or 5 supporting beliefs for that thing. If we don't believe Renatus is the best income opportunity in the country and I'm struggling with that, guess what? I better be calling my upline saying, hey, why is this the best income opportunity in the country? I need you to help me. And if they don't have the answer, you go to somebody else. Guys, if you need to, call me. I'll give you 10 reasons why each one of these things is so true. Because when we believe it, guys, think about this. Let's go perfect example. Take me out of it. Nate Lambert. Does Nate Lambert believe we have the best real estate investment education of the company?
Of
For the country? Yes. Does he believe we have the best income opportunity?
Yes.
Yes. Does he believe that everybody needs what we have? Yes. It's their loss if they say no? Yes. Guys, we don't have to question Nate on that. He knows it. Yep. So if we aren't having the success that we want, it's because we don't have the belief, the 4 core beliefs down. And so these are the guiding principles that we've literally used for years, which has helped us go out and create the success, create the people that we've been able to create. It's not what I've done, because if I take credit for somebody's success, I also have to take credit for their failures.
Yep.
So let's give them the principles. Let's have them live by those principles. And I'll give you guys a hint on this. If you want to have more success going into this next year and 2 years, become a higher character individual. People are going to want to follow individuals who have strong character and strong principles that guide them. If our character is wishy-washy, we aren't going to have the success. You become strong character individuals, you will have more success than those who are wavering on what they think or believe or what they do.
Yep. Love it. Man, that reminds me of my favorite quote by Zig Ziglar. I've never met a lazy man in my life. He's either uninspired, or he's either sick or uninspired.
Yep.
And I love how you talk about just having that inspiration, having that energy about you, about these 4 core beliefs, about what Renatus truly represents. Sorry, Matt, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're fine. I'm still hung up on the fact that, it kind of goes back to what we were talking about a little earlier, but you were literally drawing this out on a napkin.
Yeah.
Right? For that lady. So, you didn't need a PowerPoint or, you didn't need a laptop. Oh, I can't talk to you right now about it because my laptop's up in the room or whatever.
Or having the right software.
It was just like, hey, look at this. Understand this concept because it's going to save you tons of money. Or at least understand that this is where you're going to get the information or knowledge to learn how to save all that money.
Right.
Okay. So here's another fun thing. Next to them was Michelle. Michelle and her husband make over $500,000 a year. She's compliance for a major national bank.
Wow.
And she's like, you can do what with a mortgage? I'm sitting there talking to her. And so guys, here's another epic combo that's going to be coming down the pipe, because now I can explain and draw out velocity banking on a napkin. So here's my philosophy, right? If you have to have a PowerPoint to do a presentation, it's way too complicated.
Yeah. Yep.
You should be able to inspire somebody enough through the 4 core beliefs and what you believe. You can draw everything out on a napkin. If you can't, you're way overcomplicated.
And I think, that's what I was gonna say is you're trying to teach the class. You gotta really avoid doing that, right? Because otherwise, you do need a PowerPoint. If you're trying to teach the class, it's different, and that's not gonna do anything for anybody.
Yep.
They need to buy the class and watch it, because I made that mistake once trying to explain velocity banking to the individual at the bank when we were doing a HELOC on our house to do velocity banking, and he could not. Anyways, I tried to go through it with him. I actually finally ended up sitting him down with Randall and having Randall teach him, but I mean him and the branch manager, because he went and got the branch manager, and the branch
manager's like,
the branch manager's like, wait, what are you talking? And so he had never heard of the concept or understood it, and anyways, the point being is you just need to communicate that the information is there. And they need to get involved with it.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit. I mean, you live Renatus out loud. meaning the people that, like you're saying, you were sitting at a meeting for something else, and these people are all of a sudden interested because they're hearing what you're saying and how they are attracted to the way that you're living your life. Tell me a little bit about, and I apologize, I know her name somewhere in the back of my mind, but tell me about your dental hygienist. Tracy, that's her name. Tell me, how long did you know Tracy? Have you known Tracy?
So I knew Tracy about, she started me in my dental hygienist probably 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago now. And guys, here's the thing. This is the difference between, and I want to clarify this. Renatus is how I make a living. Renatus is not who I am. Does that make sense? I think too many people think like Renatus is what defines them. Renatus is how I make a living. But like Renatus doesn't characterize who I am as a person. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
You know, like some people are like, well, this is it. So when I think about Tracy, here's the thing. Bob has great principles that Bob lives by, right?
Yep.
And so when I look at the principles that Bob lives by, I try to live those principles in my everyday life. This goes back to our character, who we are we kind, like those things. And so what happens, guys, is when we are a great individual and I go and sit down with Tracy, my dental hygienist, she asked me a question. I just share a little information with her. And then I invited her to an event and she didn't show up. And then we turned around. I went back in to get my teeth cleaned again. And, then she came to an event and then I have her phone number and she has my number. And then I invite her and she's like, well, yes, I want to get started. And then she never gets started, right? So we're going on this huge back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I actually put in, she was the first person that's ever happened to. Put in an order and she never signed it.
Oh, man.
So this was like 9 years into Renatus. First order I put in, the people, she doesn't go through and she doesn't sign it. And I was a little frustrated. But then she kept on calling the community and, I want to know this. I want to know this. And literally I sent a text message to her and she knows this. So like, that's wide out in the open. I'm not talking behind her back. I literally sent her a text message and said, Tracy, here's the thing. I know you need Renatus, but you have until X day, and it was like 2 weeks out, to put your order in this system. If you don't put your order in this system, all of the people at the office know to not answer your phone call anymore. Like I was so blunt. And like, it comes down to like the last day, like 2 hours before, she's like, I know I need to do this. I'm like, yeah, I know you need to. And she's like, you're literally serious? Because I just called someone to get my question answered. And they said, is your order in the system yet? And I said, no. They said, I can't talk to you now.
That's funny.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because like she was calling it up, guys. I mean, she finally just upgraded and bought everything. I think I got paid 25 cents an hour working with her, like
all the time.
She got that combo. But here's the biggest thing with it. I knew what it could do. She's now been involved a little over a year. She has her first short-term rental. All of her kids thought she was stupid for doing it. I was talking to her on the phone one day. Her daughter grabs the phone and says, if you ever talk to my mom again, it's going to be a bad day in your life, right? Like her kids were pissed she was talking to me.
Wow.
Guys, she just helped her son set up his first short-term rental and now setting up 3 more short-term rentals in Puerto Rico where he runs part of his own business that he runs. And what's awesome, guys, she is going to save more in taxes than she paid for in the education.
That's awesome.
That's incredible.
Because, guys, it goes back to this.
Nuts.
The belief was there, and every time she came, she saw it. And sometimes people are just afraid to take that step. And so I was very like blunt with Tracy because I'm like, I'm going to be like 15 cents an hour that I'm getting paid, by the time you buy all the education. Like I said, literally spend that much time. And I'm like,
oh man,
I should have done it a lot earlier. But here's the thing. I wasn't doing it for the paycheck. I knew what it could do for her. I knew she was, early 60s, working a job with one dentist that she hates and one dentist that she loves. And she would complain about it all the time. And so even though she wasn't started, it still goes back to those guiding principles of being caring, kind, loving, serving, like helping these people, even if they aren't a part. And guys, here's what's awesome. Her first 8 months, I know we have the earnings disclosure. She's going to be 5-star qualified in that amount of time by the time she decided to market. And one of her other ladies that she brought in is going to be 5-star qualified in 8 months.
Wow.
Because they now have the belief and they realize it's not about money, but these guys are here because they care about us, wanting to help us actually make a difference in our life.
That's
but
awesome.
It has to go back to those guiding principles all the times. And so that's what's fun is, Tracy's fun in her office. She's a little more seasoned. Everybody found out this last week. She dyes her hair, so it's not white. Like, it's fun because it's a place like it comes from love and they know it. And she's just genuine about who it is because everybody loves her.
That's one thing that I love to talk about is the difference between principle-based living versus goal-based living.
Yeah.
Where, you're living towards a goal versus living by your principles.
Yeah.
And that comes back to a lot of what we've talked about over the last couple of weeks with stoicism and all of that. But by just holding to those principles, you don't have to think so much about how to act. You just rely on your principles. You act based on principles. You have a principle-centered life. And because of that, you've not only been able to change her life, but she's in turn changing the lives of her family, changing the lives of the people around her. You've had that effect by being able to just live the very principles that you're now talking about and sharing with people across the nation. I love that. It's not about the money. It's about the principle. It's about sharing and helping other people to start creating their own increase in their life that they're looking to see.
Yeah. And here's what's cool. Her family's now apologized to me.
I was just gonna ask that. I was just gonna ask.
Like, holy crap! Like you really were trying to help my mom, right?
Wow.
And so
what a story. That is awesome.
Like, it's so fun to see it, but there are the guiding principles that that Bob tries to live. Knowing you guys, really well, like we try to live by guiding principles to become better individuals every day. And that's who we want to attract in Renatus. But here's the other thing I also look at it, is there's principles in the business and there's technique.
Oh, yeah.
Right? What I teach principles is the exact same thing that Zach teaches. It's the exact same thing Michael teaches, exact same thing like Scott, Bobby T teach, right? Is the principle. And sometimes we get too hung up on the technique. Well, how does Scott do it? How does Richard do it? And now people are trying to copycat what I do. Like, guys, you aren't going to be me because I'm one hot mess that's messed up, right? And then no one's going to be Michael Huggins. No one's going to be Scott Rowe. So, guys, what we have to look at is take the principles that we're teaching and figure out how to apply that technique in your business, because you aren't going to replicate exactly what I do. The most important thing is get the principle that we're teaching, and how you implement that technique is going to be a little different. I think what happens too many times, too many ICMs get caught up on the technique, not on the principle of what we are teaching.
Yep.
And when we can understand the principle, guys, the techniques will come with it. So like the guiding principles that I have, like I lay them out. Now you guys go and figure out what are your guiding principles? What technique, how are you going to teach that to your people? One of the quotes I love by Rob Sperry is this, and you guys want to write this one down because it's good. Good leaders have vision. Great leaders give vision. What is the vision you are giving your people when it comes to the 4 core beliefs? What are the vision you guys are giving to your people when it comes to cars? What is the vision you guys are giving to your people when it comes to character, and how are we serving? Because when we can cast that vision and they see these people are truly interested, not only helping me make more money, save more money in taxes, get out of the debt faster, but they live by principles that create happiness, we're going to attract a lot more people.
That's a mic drop moment right there.
It is.
And in fact, I think that's probably the perfect place for us to end for today. I don't want to compromise any more of your time, but I have absolutely loved what you have been sharing, especially that last point about a principle-based living versus technique, being able to share based on your principles rather than trying to emulate the technique of somebody else. We need to have our own technique, our own style, our own flair. We need to be our own hot mess and share that with the world rather than trying to be somebody else's.
It's true.
And when we
awesome.
do it, we'll attract more people because we're unique and we're genuine that way.
Yes.
They aren't following some robot.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. That's huge.
Mr. Stock, it's clear to see why you've inspired so many people around the nation, and you really do pack my parachute, my friend. Thank you so much for sharing so unreservedly, for giving of your whole self, and for absolutely demonstrating the way. That's awesome.
Thank you, Richard.
Pleasure to be able to be on.
Well, you're a rock star, my friend. All right. On behalf of myself, Mr. Matt Snyder, I want to give a shout out to Mr. Andrew James. Thank you for your help with the podcast. And I want to remind everybody who's on the line that the reason why Renatus rocks is because of the people who are associated with it. Thanks, everybody. Renatus rocks.